Good morning. Today, we are going to be talking about me wanting the iPad Mini 8. I think for the longest time I've been wanting an iPad Mini just because of the size. I feel like that, for me, is like the perfect tablet size. But we're going to get more into that later. I just want to get into how or why I would want an iPad Mini, even though I have something like the 11-inch iPad Pro. So ever since I was a kid, I loved miniature things. And it didn't have to be specifically about technology or electronics. It was just anything that I was interested in. I wanted the smallest possible version without sacrificing any sort of functionality or features that it had, right? So for example, I really loved RC cars, and I wanted like the smallest possible RC car without sacrificing like the hobby portion of it, right? Because if you get into the smaller ones, they become like toy grade. You don't get things like proportional throttle or proportional steering. So I wanted like the smallest possible hobby grade RC car, just because they're super small and you're going to be able to take them anywhere. Of course, like there's still going to be downsides, like they won't perform as well as a larger vehicle, but it's something that I really liked as a kid, just like miniature hobby grade RC cars. Anyways, like even now I have the 14-inch M2 Max MacBook Pro. Before that, I had a 16-inch, and I love that 16-inch MacBook Pro. It was the last Intel one, by the way. It helped me get started with like switching over to Mac and continuing my content creator journey. But I feel like even the 16-inch size was too big for me. So I downsized to the M2 Max MacBook Pro, the 14-inch. I loved it. I did not look back. It was something that it felt like it was made for me, because you don't get any sort of performance compromises. I mean, you do a little bit, right? But it still works really well even till this day, because I'm able to do everything that I need on it. Video editing, doing other work like answering emails, scripting, writing down notes, stuff like that. I mostly just video edit on my MacBook now in terms of graphic intensive stuff. But yeah, I love that. And another one is this. So my iPad, I went from a 13-inch iPad Pro down to an 11-inch iPad Pro, and I have not looked back ever since as well. So I feel like if I go down to the iPad Mini, I feel like it would be awesome as well. Like, I feel like the iPad Mini would do all of the things that I would want it to do as a tablet, with the smaller, more portable size. I feel like that is the tablet size for me that'll allow me to be more productive, and I can still enjoy, my videos, my anime, my shows, my movies with that sized screen. Of course, there are still things that may hold me back from actually making it my main device. If I were to invest in the iPad Mini, I feel like it would sort of be a supplementary device in addition to my iPad Pro, which wouldn't really make sense, right? I feel like it should be an either or type of situation, or like one or the other situation. But the things that are holding me back is that it's not a Pro Apple product. And maybe Pro is just a title for some of you. It is literally just like a title with extra features, but I like having the Pro features, especially the nano texture display. I'm not sure if the iPad Mini 8 will get that. I love the higher refresh rate screen, and then just it being more powerful overall. Just having the extra functionality, because I think with things like Procreate, you're going to have a lot more layers that you're going to be able to have with a more powerful device. So I'm not sure with the iPad mini where that will stand. Another thing is that it doesn't have a first party keyboard. If Apple made like an iPad mini magic keyboard, or even like a folio keyboard, I feel like that would be a game changer. And not to say that there are no good keyboard cases for the iPad mini right now. There are probably a few, but I really would like a first party keyboard for the iPad mini. I'm not sure if that's going to happen, but those are my thoughts currently. I would love to have the iPad mini as a device to essentially kind of replace this, even though I have no complaints with this. I feel like it is a little bit on the heavier side with the Magic Keyboard and the iPad Pro, and like this whole thing, if it's in my backpack with the 14-inch MacBook Pro, like my backpack is small, so I literally like squeeze everything inside. So it's a very compact backpack, but it's packed to the brim, so it's very dense. Like it can reach up to almost 40 pounds. Like at one point I think it was like almost 40 pounds. So if I can minimize like the weight wherever I can, that would be sick, because the iPad mini would still allow me to be able to do the work that I would usually do on an iPad, like photo edit, answer emails, take down notes, journal, and stuff like that. Like the iPad 11-inch is by no means a bad size at all. It is actually a really good size, especially in terms of a second monitor, which is something that I like to do when I'm at a coffee shop, if there's enough space on the table, is to have a dual monitor set up with my MacBook and my iPad, and I could use the iPad as a reference monitor or as like an extra screen for productivity when I'm doing other stuff. So it is a really nice size. It is the perfect size in my opinion for a second monitor, but I don't think that the iPad mini will be too much of like a downside in terms of screen size as a second monitor. But that's pretty much it. Will I buy the iPad mini 8? I honestly don't know. We'll see what Apple gives us, and if it does come with, or if they do offer a first party accessory, a keyboard. I can't even speak English. If they do offer a first party keyboard accessory, then I'm all in, I think. Until then, I'll keep dreaming about that iPad. I'll continue to use my M4 iPad Pro. But other than that, thanks for listening to me out for 8 minutes straight. I'll see you tomorrow.